Brilliant. So, Nicola, explain to me, how concerned are you by the decision that's been made?
Desperately concerned, Lauren. It's a really shocking blow. I mean, I found out Friday night last week, and I literally started shaking. I was really shocked, and it was so unexpected. I think the issue is, for me and for thousands of local service users, that Rise is a fantastic organisation that delivers so professionally such vital services, and they have a local focus. They really understand how the local system works, how the police force works, how council works, how clinical commissioning works. And because they offer everything in-house, they deliver to clients who are having therapeutic services, their refuge services. They've got support for children, they've got BME provision, they've got speciality LGBTQ workers, and because they're so plugged into the city and how that works, they really understand what service users here need. They've been fantastic for me and my family. I mean, a real lifesaver in the last few years. And I know just, so many other people are massively reliant on their services. And to lose that to national organisations, to break that set of services up to national organisations who don't understand how things work in the city, who don't understand the particular issues that we face in the city, and who don't really have a great understanding or a great overview of specialist female trauma services and other specialist services. They may have an understanding of how to provide certain aspects of that, but Rise are really the experts in this area, and to lose that specialism is frankly frightening. I think there will be significant ramifications from this. I really do.
So, explain to me then about the petition and why you started it, and also how you're feeling about the amount of support that the petition has received as well.
Well, I mean, it's been quite a journey in the last, what is it, sort of 5 or 6 days, Lauren. I, I mean, I actually thought, I finished work on Friday and I had dinner with my son, and I thought, great, it's half term. I'm taking a few days off. It's going to be lovely, notwithstanding the rain forecast. Unfortunately, I then found out the news about Rise losing this vital contract, and that night, I couldn't sleep. I just kept turning it over in my mind, and I woke up on Saturday morning and I thought, I've got to do something, I mean, even if it's just something little. And I thought, well, the obvious thing is to set up a petition. So I set up a petition that night, and I mean, within, I think, 24 hours, we had something like 3,000 signatures. But I mean, it's been monumental. I mean, it just shows to me how loved and important Rise is in Brighton and Hove, because there are now nearly 20,000 signatures on this petition in 5.5 days. And that shows to me how important it is that we don't lose this expertise to other organisations who don't understand how things work here, and to break up the service so that the refuge services is taken over by one organisation, and the helpline and the casework is taken over by another organisation, and someone else is doing something else. So I think we tried to make that clear. I've tried to make that clear with the petition. We need to know how social value is taken into account when making this decision. And it's not just Brighton and Hove Council. It was a joint decision with Brighton and Hove Council and East Sussex County Council, who I would say have been quite quiet on that matter. Brighton Council have taken time to meet with myself and other service users. East Sussex Council haven't responded so far. So, what steps can be taken to bring the management of refuge services back under the care of Rise? I'm concerned about safeguarding. When you break up these services, what does that mean? How easy could it be for perpetrators to access when you don't have someone who's holding the reins of these services, when you don't have a really clear overview of how they're all interlinked? that it's dangerous. There will be significant consequences from that. So what I'm asking through this petition, and nearly 20,000 other people are asking that too, is to have a discussion at the next full Brighton and Hove Council meeting to look at what's happened, because nobody seems clear about what has actually gone wrong, and it is something that's gone wrong with this procurement process, and what can be done to retain refuge services in Brighton and Hove under the care of Rise. I think these things are incredibly important. Rise are so focused on their service users. They've said that they will continue to fund the helpline out of their reserves, but they can't last longer than 12 months. And a charity shouldn't be running a service for free with volunteers. They need paid staff. They need experts to do that. And I have to say that a housing association based somewhere up north, which you can see from their website, shows a really clear 20% gender pay gap between male and female staff, should not be in charge of a domestic abuse refuge in Brighton and Hove. They can't understand, if they can't even pay their female staff the same as their male staff, how can they begin to understand, women and vulnerable families in needing those services? It's not right, and we need answers.
And one last question for you, Nicola, if it's okay. I know you've answered it in some capacity already with your previous answers. What impact do you think the change will have on the community and on service users?
I think it's going to be instant. It's going to be massive. For a start, the person who was due to be guiding this process in the council is on maternity leave, and the council haven't engaged a new staff member to cover that. So there is no one at the council with responsibility for moving any services over from Rise to other organisations. There will be, I think, 3 other organisations taking over this contract, none of whom are local. So then you've got this process where nobody is in charge and nobody has this understanding of local services. For service users who are currently engaged with Rise, what do? Who do they talk to? And another thing that I found out last night was that Rise are just about to lose their premises. So from April, not only are they losing their funding, but they're losing their premises. I mean, it just feels cruel, not only to their staff and volunteers who are so focused on the services they offer, but for service users. Where do we go? What do we do? Who do we talk to? I don't want to talk to some male, middle-aged, middle management from, Wigan or whatever. I want to talk to someone who understands what happens in the city and who knows where to signpost me and who can provide a proper, full 360-degree service. It isn't safe to break it up. And I think, given that Rise are already, you can see their accounts on their website, given that they're already running the service, all of the services they run on a shoestring, how can the commissioning process have awarded it to other organisations to deliver for less? It doesn't make any sense. So what we're asking, we've asked the council to allow us to attend a full council meeting in March, the budget meeting at the council's next week, and we really want some answers about what's going on. There's national government money specifically for domestic abuse services that's going out locally. We want to know where that's going to be spent. Why isn't that being given to Rise to continue their services, and some answers about how this decision was made. There doesn't currently seem to be clarity around that, and that in itself is concerning. If even the council don't understand how it happened, what does that mean for anyone else in the city? It doesn't bode well.
Nicola, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to add? I feel like you've covered quite a lot of the points that we wanted to get across, but is there any other bits that you want to add before we stop recording?
Yes, I mean, what I'd really like to say is, it's fantastic that so many thousands of people have signed the petition. It's really, really great that you have. And the one thing that's come out of that is we will be able to have a full and frank debate at Brighton and Hove Council in their next full council meeting. But we really want people to still be signing and sharing this petition, because you know, domestic abuse services nationally are being cut left, right, and centre. So that's important. But we really want to support Rise. So please sign. You go to change.org, support Rise, and sign and share. It takes 1 minute. Please write to your local councillor if you live in Brighton and Hove and ask what's happened. Ask questions. There's a template letter on a site we've set up called brightonriseup.wordpress.com. All the details are on there, and all the councillor details are on there. And finally, if you can, please, you know, go to Rise website and just say, I'm going to set up a standing order, or, you know, pop a fiver in the pot if you can. I know times are hard, but anything that will mean that, you know, at least they can offer a helpline and some support. And just really get in touch. You know, one of the amazing things that's happened for everyone that signed the petition is the personal testimonies of why this service has to stay local and why this service has to continue to be run by Rise. You know, people are talking about things that have happened to them 15, 20 years ago and how important that service was to them then and how important it is to stay. We need to bring our women's refuges home.
Thank you, Nicola. I really appreciate it. We'll stop our recording this end, and if you can send